Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because things are about to get real. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy D Nolly, aka Don Squally, and today we are back with another Forza Horizon 4 RICER build video, man. Now, in the past, if you guys have been subscribed to the channel, y'all will know that sometimes we gotta spit a little bit of truth on the game here and throw a RICER build at you guys. Now, with today's update, actually, when I turned this, I'm not really sure when the update came, but when I turned on my Xbox, we had an update for Forza Horizon 4, and oh my, if I wasn't surprised to see one of the original RICER vehicles in the game. Now, obviously, when you think of RICERs, most guys think of, souped up Hondas and souped up Hondas. But if there's one RICER car that has really made a staple in the car scene, it has got to be the 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Now, if you guys have watched Fast and the Furious, you will know that this vehicle is one of the riced out Mitsubishis. One being obviously that beautiful purple Lancer, all chromed out, that Tyrese would have been driving, and the other being the Mitsubishi Eclipse that Paul Walker himself was driving in the movie. Now, before we get started, gotta say big RIP to Paul Walker, man. Put all of us young dudes up on the car scene, man, so gotta pay the respects when they are due. But for those of you guys who have watched a lot of the earlier Fast and the Furious movies, they were different times, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just be the first to say that. Big chrome wings, really flamboyant paint jobs and wraps, as well as some, just some ugly ass chrome wheels. I don't know what the designers were thinking, but let's be honest, back then, flashy body kits, big spoilers, and, chrome wheels, that was what was popular back then. I'm not gonna lie. I also had hopes back when I had my Oldsmobile Intrigue, which ironically similar in style to this here Mitsubishi Eclipse. I did want to put a big body kit. Actually, there was a dude locally to me that had a very pimped out Intrigue. I believe there's still videos of that somewhere floating around online. But times have changed, and now what was considered a dope car back then is now considered 100% rice. So what we're going to do is hurt some feelings here, jump up into today's video, and of course get started. Now, when you're a RICER, the last thing you're going to do is any performance modifications to your car whatsoever. That obviously excluding a big fat intake and RICER fart cannon, which, let's be honest, not really modifications in the grand scheme of things. Now, one thing that is the RICER thing to do is stick with a front wheel drive platform. Now, obviously here we only have an all-wheel drive and a rear wheel drive option, but we're going to fix all that in a minute, a little later on in the video. Now comes the fun part, some big ricey body kits here, and I'm going to be looking for the riciest thing out here, and it looks like that Bomex is definitely taking the cake. The VIS, also pretty ricey, not going to lie. That little Forza bumper add-on, not necessarily the rice that we are looking for. I'm thinking we're going to go with the VIS RICER bumper. Now this, for some reason, reminds me of the body kit that would be found on a 3000 GT, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and throw that on our Eclipse. Now, big Wang Gang in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We are definitely going to be adding on a big old wang on this thing. Now, the rear body kit, again, looking for the most ridiculous and raciest bumper, and it looks like Bomex. I don't know where they're going with this. That is rice if I have ever seen it. Looks like there's a whole nother bumper attached to the bumper that's already on the car, so that's going to be absolutely perfect. Side skirts, same deal. We are going to look for the riciest and diciest, and again, Bomex really taking the cake here with those side skirts. Again, looks like there's a whole other side skirt attached to a side. Yo, dog, we heard you like side skirts, so we gave you some side skirts for your side skirts type of deal. As far as the hood goes, definitely going to put on that vented hood, albeit I'm a G35 owner. I do own a car with a vented hood on it. If you guys want to check that out, check out my YouTube channel. That link will be down in the description. But, you know, for this build, I like to think mine's a little classier than this, but, you know, some might call mine Rice as well. Now, as far as the tires go, if you are a Ricer, you're going to have stock tires, and they're going to be bald as hell. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. But since we can't make the tires any worse than they already are, I'm going to put on a Horizon race tire compound strictly for those tire letters. Again, upgrading the width of your wheels and tires, not something a Ricer is really going to be able to afford, because let's be honest, we're spending all of our money on these budget fiberglass body kits and wings. But nonetheless, we are going to be upgrading the wheels with some very chrome, very ugly wheels. I'm going to skim through a couple of options, see if I can find something that I think is going to suit our Ricer build here. Now, for those of you guys who are alive during the mid-2000s and all the way up to, like, I'd say 2005, 2006, Lexani wheels were the shizness. I'm not gonna lie, everybody and their grandma had Lexanis on their Crown Vics, on their pickup trucks, Honda Civics. Lexani was a huge deal back then. Nonetheless, can't say that I've seen a set of Lexani wheels in a very long time, but we are going to be putting them on our Ricer Mitsubishi here. Now, if we weren't Ricers, we might want to go ahead and do a little bit of offset on here, but for that Ricer legitness, we're going to go ahead, leave this hovercraft fitment the way that it is, and I think those big old wheels looking pretty legit as it is. Now, as far as the drivetrain upgrades go, you're going to want the most clapped out and worn out clutch that you can possibly find, preferably the original one from 1995 when this car was born, as well as the transmission. For the best results, you're going to want an automatic. No word of a lie. That's the way to go when you're a Ricer. Now, as far as the differential goes, we are going to upgrade the diff, and that is so we can get that front wheel drive performance that most Ricers are after. Now, again, with brakes, you're going to want the most clapped out, worn out set of brakes that you can possibly find, but since we can't go any worse than the brakes that are already found on this car, which, let's be honest, probably not the best brakes in the world, we're going to go ahead and leave these brakes on here. Now, as far as springs and dampers, most Ricers rocking those clapped out, completely worn out suspension components, and this is going to be no different. Now, for us, we're going to go ahead and lift this car so we can fit those big old chrome Lexanis on here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some rally springs and dampers. Hopefully, when we hit bumps, this thing will bounce and just, you know, ride like a complete bucket, which is what Ricers usually tend to go for. Now, as far as the weight reduction goes, this is probably the only other thing we're going to be able to afford as a Ricer after purchasing our body kit and our chrome wheels is weight reduction. Let's be honest, weight reduction is free, and most Ricers would like to gut their vehicles just to make it look more like a race car and less like a rice car. Now, as far as the engine goes, like I say, performance modifications not even on our radar right now. But one thing we are going to do is go ahead and throw on a warm air intake. That's just a cone filter placed directly beside either the engine, transmission, maybe even right next to your headers. That's going to make the best performance in a Ricer's eyes. Now, we need a fart can, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade to a race exhaust. Even though most Ricers just cut off the muffler, throw a fart can on the end, I think for the best sound and performance in this game, we're going to have to go with a full race exhaust. Now, I wish there was some way to take this turbo off of the car because, let's be honest, 100% of Ricers are not going to be rocking a turbo. They are going to be rocking that stock single overhead cam 1.6 liter Honda Civic engine, or in this case, a NA Mitsubishi Eclipse engine. But since we can't do that, we're going to keep everything else stock on this car. And now that we got our, we're going to say aesthetics done outside of the car, we're going to go ahead, install this setup, and we're going to get to painting this thing. But before we do that, what I am going to do is jump into the tuning section. And of course, we're going to check our alignment. Now, we're going to rock some ridiculous negative camber on this bad boy, just to make it look more ricey than it already is. Anti-roll bars can adjust. Now, the suspension, I want to see the suspension as completely soft as possible. Blown struts, as well as some pretty worn down springs, are going to give you the impression that it rides like a Cadillac, but it's actually going to ride like a piece of crap. So now that we got that out of the way, one last thing I did want to do is adjust the differential. For those of you guys who were paying attention a little earlier in the video, front wheel drive, the only way to go for RICERs. So we are going to put a front bias on the differential here to make pretty much all the power go to the front wheels. Now, last but not least, we're going to jump into the designs and paint section here. Now, this white paint job just not going to cut it for us as a RICER. So what I think we're going to do is jump into the special colors here. And I'd like to see something with a little bit of a flake, maybe even a color-changing paint job. Color-changing paint was very popular back in the day. Still is, but when done properly, can actually look relatively decent. So what I think we're going to do is customize this with a base color, maybe of yellow, we'll say. Yellow and blue, a nice little contrast here, but I think what we should do is maybe make the yellow a little brighter than it is here, and maybe take out, make the blue, I should say, a little bit darker here. Now, that color shift is the budget rice way to do it, man. Even though these paint jobs can range anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, Plastidip has made this much easier for RICERs. So if you are after that RICER look, I'd suggest Plastidip in your car, man. Let's be 100% honest. Forzathon on right now. Sorry, Forza. We are currently in the middle of something. Now, one thing I do want to do is see if we can get a little bit more of a better chrome on these wheels. Now, one thing RICERs can do is paint them red. I've seen that done before, and that is very, very rice. But nonetheless, I'm going to see if we can get a better chrome color on this car here. The steel polish looking relatively decent, but I think the way to go here is probably going to be the aluminum polished. That's going to give us a nice ricey look. Now, as far as RICERs go, tinting windows is, you know, something that most RICERs aren't going to be able to afford to do, you know, professionally. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go ahead and throw on that Walmart tint with the purple windows on here, just a little bit faded, just a little bit, give it that authentic RICER look. Now, what else can we do here to make this look? RICERs love carbon fiber, let's be honest. We're going to go ahead and throw a fake-ass carbon fiber wrap on this bad boy, just completely butchering the entire paint job. Even if it was a good paint job, let's be honest, that fake carbon fiber is going to turn it from a 10 all the way down to, well, probably a 1 or 2, depending on who's judging. And now that we got the paints out of the way, last but not least, we're going to go ahead and throw some RICER vinyls on here. Now, this is the carrot on top. For those of you guys who are paying attention to the Fast and Furious Eclipse as well as the Lancer, you will know that just some very ricey graphics are the way to go. And that's really going to set everything off here. So let's see if we can find something to slap on here. Tears are always good. Let's go ahead and throw a tear on here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw a bright yellow tear on right off the beginning here, right off of the bat, I should say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to talk some smack as well as make this video. So a yellow tear here, first and foremost. We're going to go ahead and stamp that. Now, what I'm going to do is probably do a purple inner here, pink, purple. And then we're just going to size this up just a little bit so that it kind of fits inside the original decal that we threw on here. And that's going to be looking fresh here. Now, another thing that RICERs love to do, they just love to do it, is go ahead and throw on some manufacturer decals here to let everybody know, hey, I'm rocking those, those BBS wheels, rocking those Recaro seats. So what we're going to do is go ahead and throw some RICER decals on this bad boy here. Let's see, one on the side skirt here, as well as a couple of other ones. Now, one thing that RICERs also love to do, let's say you're rocking some Recaro seats, we're going to put a Recaro decal as well as a Sparco decal, just to really reiterate the fact that we are in fact RICERs. So we're going to go ahead, add that up right now, resize that so it looks a little bit more appropriate, and that is looking super fresh. Now what we're going to want to do, obviously, is go ahead and drop the same scheme on the opposite side here. And, I mean, that's looking pretty RICER if I do say so myself. But what we are going to do on this front bumper is maybe add, now, if you weren't a RICER, you could do a little black section here on the lower valence, maybe give it a little bit of a non-RICE look. But since we are RICERs, what we are going to go ahead and do is do the yellow here. Just to really drive home the fact that we don't know what the hell we are doing. And now that we got that out of the way, oh, I don't think I put that there. And now that we got that out of the way, what we're going to do is save this to the current car and go ahead and see how this clapped out hoopty drives. Now, there may be a couple of you out there that like the Mitsubishi Eclipse, but clearly this one, well, this one does not fall into that category. Front wheel drive, all of 100 horsepower going to those front wheels, just completely hooking and booking here, ladies and gents. Now that's what I like to see. Hitting that red line like a true RICER does. Actually, that's the way you want to shift, is wait until you hear the RPMs bouncing off of the red line, then upshift. Truly the way to go. Couple of those rollers, look at those wheels, just beautiful. Hitting them brakes, you can see the front end dive down. Just absolutely bucket suspension, which was exactly what we were going for. Now, to be honest, this paint job, minus the, if we were to take off those ugly ass decals off there, this paint job probably not gonna be that bad. But that's all it takes to be a RICER, ladies and gentlemen. And all it takes to ruin a half-decent paint job is just some really lousy decals here. Now, aside from that, purple window tint looking absolutely ragged, which is exactly what we are going for here. And honestly, this thing pulls like, probably like a Yugo running off of a singular cylinder. Just no power whatsoever, almost bogging down here, just going up a hill. So that's pretty much on par for what RICERs are going to be experiencing in their daily lives, which is why, you put a loud exhaust on. Really lets people look, notice you when you're driving by. And, let's be honest, that is the key for RICERs, is just being noticed, regardless of it's in a good way or a bad way. We just want people to look at us and say, damn, that Mitsubishi is loud as a mofo here. We're going to cross this bridge here. Not exactly sure where this is going to, I don't know. Looks like we could run off the waterfall there. That's a little bit dangerous, Forza. Why would you do this to me? Now, in the back roads, probably where this thing performs the absolute worst. I think city driving, where you're only going, let's say, 0 to 20 miles per hour, that's where this thing's going to perform, because that's where you can get her up to first gear, really rev the piss out of it, all the way up to 8,000 RPM, really get those heads turning, and, you're going to get noticed more, obviously, in the city than you are in the country, because there's just more people there, man. Let's be 100% honest. So tips from your boy Don Squally, man. If you want to get noticed, move to the city, man. Take your little clapped out bucket, drive it down to the city. I guess we'll go ahead and do that right now, because that's where the most fun is going to be had, let's be honest. But overall, as far as riced out, clapped out cars go, this thing is definitely on point up there with the best of them, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I'm thinking we're probably going to go ahead, take our little screenshot for our thumbnail here, and probably put an end to this video. Now, if you guys did enjoy this one, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys want to see more and you're not subscribed yet, definitely do so. And if you guys want to see any other vehicle, maybe a vehicle that you drive, maybe it's something that you just don't like, and you want to see me completely butcher it, as well as talk a lot of smack about it, definitely don't forget to let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments section. But with that being said, I'm thinking we are probably going to put an end to this video. That Rice rocket just about to take off with that big old wing, man. And that's exactly what we are after. So if you guys did enjoy this one, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And with that being said, I am your boy D Nolly, aka Don Squally. We're gonna catch y'all mofos at the next one. Clutch dump! Recovery of a lifetime. Oh fuck! Oh no! Oh! Fuck! Yeah, just keep on rolling there. Yeah. Don't worry about the racer or anything.